It had been 5 long years since she walked out of my life, 5 years since she traded our quiet-to-bedroom life for champagne brunches and penthouse views. I still remember her parting shot, sharp as glass. You were always too ordinary. For me. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I just let her go, quietly, dignified. But the ache she left behind took much longer to leave. For a long time, her absence was a presence of its own. Every room, every silence, seemed to echo with her ghost. Until, one day, it didn't. I built something new. Not flashy. Not the kind that trends online, but something real. A carpentry business with my own hands. Steady work. Good people. A quiet, debt-free life. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Then, a week ago, an elegant envelope appeared. In my mailbox, cream-colored, embossed in gold. An invitation. From her. Elena. A wedding. I laughed. Not bitterly, just surprised. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she wanted to show me just how far above me she'd risen. But curiosity got the better of me. So I said yes. The venue was a mountaintop estate, all glass and grandeur, overlooking the glittering skyline like it owned the night. I came as I was, jeans, boots, a button-up that still smelled faintly of fresh wood from the morning's work. The crowd, draped in luxury and labels, glanced my way like I didn't belong. And maybe I didn't, but I wasn't there to prove anything. Then I saw her, Elena, wrapped in a white gown that probably cost more than my truck. She laughed easily among her guests, perfectly posed. And then she noticed me. Her expression shifted to amusement. She broke away, her bridesmaids following like shadows, all eyes and wine glasses. You actually came, she said, flashing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I didn't think this place even allowed pickup trucks in the parking lot. Her friends giggled. Still sanding tables in that little cabin of yours? Must feel strange being around real wealth for a change. I nodded slightly. It's quiet. And everything I own is paid for. The laughter faltered. Just a bit. They didn't expect that. They expected me to squirm, but I didn't give them that satisfaction. Then it happened. A man stepped onto the terrace. Her fiancé, tall, polished, confident until he saw me. His grip on his drink loosened. His face drained of color. Panic flickered behind his eyes. You, he muttered. Silence rippled across the crowd. Conversations halted. Even the music paused, like the world leaned in to listen. Elena blinked. Wait, do you two know each other? The man didn't move. His eyes from mine. Yeah, he said, voice tight. More than you could ever know. She turned to him, baffled. What are you talking about? He set his glass down with a trembling hand. It was before I knew you. Before I knew who you were connected to. I spoke calmly. You might want to ask where we met. She hesitated. Where did you? Then to him. How do you know my ex-husband? He swallowed hard. We used to work together. Finance firm. Uptown. There was a situation. Now all ears were on us. He turned us in, he admitted. Whistleblower. Gasps. She went pale. For what? She asked. Barely audible. I stepped forward. Insider trading, fraud, embezzlement. The company buried it. But I took everything to the authorities. He made a deal, changed jobs, disappeared. The color drained from her face. You're lying, she whispered. You knew who he was? You planned this? I shrugged. Let's just say when karma knocks. I opened the door. The groom looked like a man waiting for the floor to open up beneath him. Elena's expression turned from shock to fury. You told me your past was clean, that you were different. He raised his hands. I had no choice. You wanted prestige, power, money, and you gave me lies. She screamed, but the worst blow came not from his betrayal but from the truth behind it. She hadn't left me for love. She left me for something shinier, something she thought was better. And now, in front of everyone she tried to impress, it was all falling apart. You always said he was pathetic. One of her bridesmaids muttered, pointing toward me. You told us he lived in a shack, probably still crying himself to sleep over you. Then a voice from the crowd, an older gentleman in a tailored navy suit, spoke up with measured curiosity. Is this why you vanished from the firm, Nathan? We heard whispers about the investigation, the missing files, but we never knew who was behind it. Nathan said nothing, but his silence echoed louder than any denial. I turned to Elena, her perfectly crafted mask beginning to melt under the weight of the moment. Black streaks of mascara traced her cheeks, and the pride she once carried so arrogantly had all but dissolved. You mocked my life in front of everyone, I said calmly, voice low but unmistakably clear. Called it small, but here's what you don't understand. I turned to address everyone now, not just her. My life may be simple, yes, but it's real. I build things that last with these hands, not fortunes that vanish with the push of a button. I wake up every day with peace, not paranoia. When people shake my hand, they don't wonder what it's hiding. A ripple moved through the crowd. Someone clapped just once, then quickly stopped. But the tone had already shifted. The weight of judgment wasn't on me anymore. It was on them. Nathan finally tried to salvage what was left. This doesn't change anything, he insisted. Elena and I, we love each other. We can explain. But she was already backing away from him, shaking her head, her voice cracking under the strain. I gave up everything for this day, for you, for this fairy tale. I traded so much to stand here and pretend it was all worth it. She looked around, at the guests now whispering behind wine glasses, at the camera crew who had lowered their lenses, at the catering staff awkwardly lingering near untouched trays. Everything she built to look perfect was unraveling in front of the very people she built it for. And you gave me this, she said bitterly. You gave me collapse. Then she turned toward me, her eyes bloodshot but focused. Was this your goal? To ruin me? I met her stare without flinching. You did that all on your own. I just came so you wouldn't miss it. Gasps turned into murmurs, murmurs into side glances, and side glances into judgment too loud to ignore. The same bridesmaids who laughed with her earlier quietly distanced themselves now, their smiles gone. Even the elegance of the venue couldn't cover the smell of disaster. Nathan stood frozen, damp with sweat, eyes darting like he was looking for an escape. He reached out, trying to grasp Elena's hand. We can fix it. We can still make this work. She pulled her hand back like it had touched fire. You're not dragging me into your mess. Then, a staff member, possibly the event coordinator, approached gingerly. Mrs. Elena, do you still wish to proceed with the ceremony? No one breathed. The entire venue seemed to hold its breath. She didn't answer. Instead, she scanned the surroundings, the emptying chairs, the halted music, the guests avoiding her gaze. She looked at Nathan once more, then at me. There was no hatred there anymore, just a silent recognition of what had been lost. With trembling hands, she reached for her veil, pulled it from her hair, and let it drift to the ground like a discarded promise. Then, without a word, she turned and walked alone down the aisle that was meant to mark her new beginning. Nathan called after her, again, but no one moved. No one chased her, and no one cared to stop him from following. I waited a moment, then turned to leave myself. No drama, just peace. Near the valet, an older woman stepped into my path. One of Elena's relatives, perhaps. Her voice was soft, eyes filled with something like regret. You're not the same man I met all those years ago. Neither is she. I replied, but I grew. She nodded slowly, like that truth had been sitting quietly in her bones all this time. I hope she realizes what she threw away. I didn't reply. Some truths speak loudest when left unspoken. Years passed. Enough time for the chaos to turn into legend, passed in hushed tones over champagne flutes at high-end fundraisers. They called it the wedding that shattered the perfect couple that wasn't. The ex who arrived unnoticed and left as the only one untouched by disgrace. I never gave interviews, never posted my side. I didn't need to. After the exposure, regulators reopened old cases. Nathan's new empire crumbled, titles stripped, accounts frozen. He tried rebuilding in a new city, but the shame stuck like a stain he couldn't wash off. Search his name now, and the headlines tell the story for him. Elena's fall came more quietly. Her high society friends stopped inviting her. Her name became one people avoided, not out of malice, but to dodge the awkward silence it brought with it. She tried launching a podcast reclaiming me, but it barely lasted 2 episodes before disappearing. Eventually, she moved back in with her parents, then rented a modest place on the outskirts of the city, picked up a job in marketing. Normal, average, the kind of life she once sneered at. And for the first time, she lived like the person she used to mock. I stayed the course. My shop expanded. I brought on a few young guys, eager to learn and willing to work. I taught them how to build things that matter. We made homes, not just furniture. My world didn't sparkle, but it stood strong. Then one day, while finishing a custom piece for a client, I found an envelope tucked inside my mail. No return address, just thick cream paper and simple handwriting. You were right about everything. I hope you found the piece I once pushed away. Elena. I read it once, then folded it neatly and placed it in a drawer. Did it bring closure? Yes. Not the kind that screams, the kind that settles. Because while some people chase wealth and status until they drown in it, I chose wood and quiet and slept soundly every night.